Emma worked as a waitress in a small but busy diner in the heart of the city. Every day, from early morning until late at night, she served customers with a warm smile and a kind heart. The diner was not fancy, but it was cozy and welcoming. Regular customers came not only for the food but because Emma always made them feel special. She knew their names, their favorite orders, and even little details about their lives. Emma loved her job, even though it did not pay much. She believed that helping people and making them happy was important. That day started like many others. Emma arrived early, tying her apron and preparing the diner for the rush. The smell of fresh coffee filled the air. The sounds of plates clinking and customers chatting created a lively atmosphere. Emma was used to the busy pace. She moved quickly but carefully, making sure every order was perfect. She greeted everyone with a bright smile, from the regulars who sat in their usual booths, to new customers who came in looking for a good meal. As the lunch hour approached, the diner became very crowded. Emma ran back and forth taking orders, serving food, and checking if everyone was happy. She loved the feeling of being needed and enjoyed the small talk she had with customers. Some talked about their jobs, others about their families or their dreams. Emma listened carefully and always gave encouraging words. She believed a kind word could make someone's day better. While she was busy serving a table of children laughing and sharing stories, her phone buzzed quietly in her apron pocket. She didn't check it right away because she didn't want to disturb her guests. But when the busy moment passed, she took out the phone and saw a message from her best friend, Mia. It read, "Emma, something urgent happened. Please call me when you get a chance." Emma felt a little worried but didn't have time to call back. She was helping an elderly man who looked unwell, and she wanted to make sure he was comfortable. The man had been sitting quietly by the window for some time, and when Emma checked on him, she noticed his face was pale. She asked if he needed anything, and he nodded weakly. She brought him water and stayed near in case he needed help. Just then, the diner's phone rang loudly. The manager, Mr. Carter, answered it quickly. Emma heard his voice sound serious, and she saw him motion for her to come over. Curiosity mixed with concern filled her mind as she walked toward him. "Emma," the hospital called, Mr. Carter said, in a low voice. "They need a blood donor urgently, and your blood type matches." Emma was surprised. She had no idea the hospital was looking for her. She had never donated blood before, but she remembered that during a health checkup months ago, her doctor had told her she had a rare blood type. It was something unusual that not many people had. "Why me?" Emma asked, feeling a mix of nerves and curiosity. "There's a patient in critical condition," Mr. Carter explained. "They need blood quickly, or the patient might not survive. They called the Red Cross and they said your blood type is the only one that matches." Emma's heart started beating faster. She thought about the patient and how serious the situation must be. She did not know who it was or anything about the person, but she felt a strong desire to help. "I want to do it," she said firmly. Mr. Carter smiled and nodded. "Good. They told us you need to come right away. They're waiting for you." Emma took a deep breath and told Mia she would call back later. She quickly changed out of her apron, grabbed her coat, and headed to the hospital. Outside, the city was busy as usual, but Emma felt the world around her slow down. In her mind, all she could think about was the person who needed her help. When she reached the hospital, she was greeted by nurses and doctors who explained what would happen. Emma sat down in a small room, and they checked her health carefully before the blood donation. The nurse was kind and gentle, talking to her to help her stay calm. Emma looked around the room. There were posters about donating blood and stories of people who had been helped by donors. It made her feel proud to be part of something so important. The nurse prepared the equipment. Emma thought about her family and friends. She thought about how many people depend on others every day, sometimes without even knowing it. She wondered about the patient she was about to help. Who were they? Were they young or old? Did they have people who loved them? The needle was placed in her arm, and Emma felt a small pinch. She tried to relax and think of happy things. She remembered the laughter of the children at the diner and the smile of the elderly man by the window. She thought about all the little moments in life that make it worth living. The blood donation took some time. Emma watched as the bag slowly filled. She felt a mix of tiredness and satisfaction. Even though it was not a big thing to her, it could mean everything to someone else. After the donation was complete, the nurses thanked her warmly. They gave her juice and a snack to help her recover. Emma sat quietly, feeling a little weak but happy. She knew she had done something good. Later, when she returned to her small apartment, Emma still didn't know the identity of the person she had helped. To her, it was just a kind act, something anyone would do if they had the chance. But little did she know, her simple decision to donate blood would change many lives, including her own, in ways she could never imagine. After Emma left the hospital, she felt tired but satisfied. The nurse had told her to rest and drink plenty of fluids, so Emma went straight home. Her small apartment was quiet, with soft sunlight coming through the window. She sat on her couch, thinking about the day's events. The whole experience seemed simple to her, just a small act of kindness that anyone could do. But inside, she felt a warm glow, knowing she had helped someone in need. Emma's mind wandered back to the diner and the busy lunch rush. She remembered the faces of the customers, their smiles, and their stories. It made her realize how connected people's lives were even when they didn't know it. How many other people were out there who needed help but didn't ask for it? Emma wished she could do more. Meanwhile, at the hospital, things were very different. The emergency room was full of doctors and nurses rushing to save a patient in critical condition. The man had been in a serious accident, and his injuries were severe. The hospital staff worked quickly, using every tool and skill they had to keep him alive. Time was running out, and without the right blood type, his chances were growing smaller. When the nurse brought the blood bag filled with Emma's donation, a sense of hope spread through the room. The doctors connected the transfusion carefully, watching the patient's condition closely. Slowly, the man's color began to improve, and his heartbeat grew stronger. It was clear that the blood was helping save his life. Despite the busy and stressful environment, one nurse took a moment to smile. She knew the importance of every donor and how their generosity made miracles possible. The hospital kept records of all donors, and they noted Emma's rare blood type and quick response. It was a small detail, but it made a huge difference for the patient and his family. Back in the city, Emma returned to her routine. The next few days were busy with work, family, and friends. She didn't expect to hear anything more about the blood donation. To her, it was an event that had already passed, a brief moment in her everyday life. But soon, news began to spread quietly through the hospital and beyond. The patient was no ordinary person. He was Robert Sinclair, a billionaire known for his business success and his generous support of charities. He lived a private life but was respected by many. When the news reached the hospital staff, they realized the significance of Emma's donation. Robert's family was deeply grateful. They knew that without the blood transfusion, Robert's chance of survival would have been much lower. His doctors shared stories about the rare blood type and the quick action that saved him. They wanted to thank the person who had made such a difference. Meanwhile, Emma had no idea about any of this. She continued her work at the diner, smiling and serving customers as usual. The day passed normally until one afternoon when a man in a suit walked into the diner. He was polite and respectful, but there was something serious about his visit. He introduced himself as a representative from Robert Sinclair's family. He explained that they wanted to meet Emma, the donor who had saved the billionaire's life. Emma was shocked. She never expected her small act of kindness to lead to anything like this. At first, Emma felt shy and unsure. She was just a waitress, living a simple life, and the idea of meeting a billionaire seemed like a dream. But she agreed to come with the man to meet Robert once she finished her shift. That evening, Emma left the diner and went to the hospital. The building was large and modern, full of lights and sounds she wasn't used to. A nurse led her to a private room where Robert was resting. He was still weak but awake. When Robert saw Emma, his eyes filled with gratitude. He reached out his hand and thanked her warmly. Emma felt her heart swell with emotion. She had never expected to meet the person whose life she had saved. They talked for a while. Robert shared stories about his work and his passion for helping others. He told Emma how important her donation was and how it gave him a second chance at life. Emma listened quietly, feeling honored but also a little overwhelmed. After the meeting, Emma returned home, thinking deeply about everything that had happened. She realized that her small decision to help had changed not only Robert's life, but hers as well. It was a reminder that even ordinary people can do extraordinary things. Over the next few days, Emma received many messages of thanks and encouragement. Friends, family, and even strangers praised her kindness. She felt proud but remained humble. To her, the real reward was knowing she had saved a life. Life slowly returned to normal for Emma, but something inside her had changed. She felt stronger and more confident. She began to dream of new possibilities, knowing that one simple act of kindness could open doors she never imagined. And far away, Robert Sinclair began his recovery with hope and determination, carrying with him the gift of life given by a kind-hearted waitress who never knew she was a hero. After Emma's visit to the hospital, she thought a lot about the man whose life she had helped save. She remembered Robert Sinclair's kind eyes and the calm way he spoke, even though he was very weak. The experience stayed with her, and she began to wonder more about the life of the man behind the news stories she had heard about before. Robert Sinclair was well known in the city. He was a billionaire, famous not just for his wealth but also for his work helping others. He had started many projects to support education, health, and people in need. But despite all this, very few people really knew him personally. He kept his life private and rarely appeared in public. Only a few close friends and family knew what kind of person he truly was. After the accident, Robert's condition was still serious, but the doctors were hopeful. They knew the blood transfusion from Emma had played a big role in helping him recover. Slowly, bit by bit, he gained strength. Each day, his body healed a little more, and his spirit grew stronger. While Robert was in the hospital, his family gathered around him, grateful for the support he was receiving. They talked often about the mysterious donor who had given him the rare blood he needed. His wife, Susan, was especially curious. She wanted to meet Emma and thank her personally. She believed it was important to show gratitude to someone who had saved her husband's life. Robert's children, too, were eager to meet Emma. They had heard stories about her kindness and courage. They wondered what she was like. What kind of person could make such a big difference with a small act? They hoped to learn more about her. Back at the diner, Emma continued her life as usual. She worked hard, greeted customers with her usual smile, and enjoyed the simple moments in her day. But something was different now. She noticed people looking at her with admiration when they heard about her story. Sometimes strangers stopped by just to say thank you or share a kind word. Emma's friends were proud of her. Mia, her best friend, often reminded her how special she was. "You saved a life, Emma," Mia would say. "That's more than most people ever do." Emma felt shy but also proud. She never thought of herself as a hero, just someone who wanted to help. One afternoon, Emma received a phone call from Susan Sinclair's assistant. They invited Emma to attend a small gathering at Robert's home. It was a chance for Emma to meet the family again and see how Robert was doing. Emma felt nervous but also excited. She accepted the invitation. When Emma arrived at Robert's house, she was surprised by how warm and welcoming the family was. The home was beautiful but cozy, filled with photos of happy moments and family memories. Robert was sitting comfortably in a chair, looking healthier and more at peace. Robert smiled warmly when he saw Emma. "Thank you for coming," he said softly. "You saved my life. I will never forget it." Emma felt tears in her eyes. She never imagined that her small donation could mean so much to someone. She realized that life could change in unexpected ways. During the visit, Robert shared stories about his work and his hopes for the future. He talked about his foundation and the projects that help children get better education and access to health care. Emma listened carefully, inspired by his dedication. Susan and the children joined the conversation, sharing their own experiences and gratitude. They talked about how the accident had brought the family closer and reminded them of what really mattered in life. Emma felt honored to be part of this special moment. After the gathering, Emma left feeling happy but also thoughtful. She knew that helping others was important, but meeting Robert made her want to do even more. She began to think about ways she could give back to her community. Over the next few weeks, Emma stayed in touch with Robert's family. They invited her to charity events and encouraged her to share her story. Emma found that people listened to her with respect and kindness. She discovered that one small act of courage could inspire many others. At the same time, Robert worked hard to recover fully. He was determined to return to his work and continue making a difference in the world. He often spoke about Emma's donation as a symbol of hope and kindness, a reminder that even the simplest things could change lives. The connection between Emma and Robert grew stronger. Though they came from very different worlds, they shared a deep respect for each other. Both understood the power of kindness and the importance of helping those in need. Emma's life began to change slowly but surely. She felt more confident and hopeful. She started volunteering at local shelters and organizing small events to help people in her neighborhood. She wanted to show others that kindness could make a difference, just like it had in her life. Robert, on his side, continued to support Emma's efforts. He offered resources and encouragement, hoping to build a bridge between their worlds. Together, they dreamed of a better future where everyone had a chance to live a healthy and happy life. The story of the waitress who saved a billionaire's life spread far and wide. It became a symbol of hope and generosity. People were reminded that heroes can come from anywhere, that one person's kindness can create ripples that reach across the world. And so Emma and Robert's journey was just beginning. Their lives, once so different, were now connected by a single act of love and courage. It was a powerful reminder that sometimes the smallest choices can change everything. News about Emma's life-saving blood donation started to spread beyond the hospital walls and the small circle of Robert Sinclair's family and friends. It first appeared in a local newspaper, telling the story of a humble waitress who had unknowingly saved the life of a billionaire. The article captured many people's attention because it showed how kindness could come from the most unexpected places. People were inspired by Emma's simple yet powerful act of giving. Soon, the story was shared on social media. Messages of thanks and admiration poured in from all over the city and even from farther away. People called Emma a hero, a kind soul, and someone who reminded the world that small actions can have huge effects. Emma was surprised and a little overwhelmed by the attention. She had never sought praise or recognition. To her, she was just doing what felt right. At the diner where Emma worked, customers asked about her story. Some brought her small gifts or cards. The manager even gave her a day off to rest and recover from the busy weeks. Emma smiled politely, feeling grateful but also wanting to stay humble. She didn't want to be treated differently. She was still the same person who loved her job and the people around her. Meanwhile, Robert Sinclair's team worked quietly to find the best way to publicly thank Emma. Robert himself was eager to show his appreciation, but wanted to do it in a meaningful way that reflected Emma's values and kindness. The family discussed ideas for a private meeting or a small ceremony. One day, Emma received an unexpected invitation. It was from Robert's office, asking her to come to a special event. Emma was nervous but curious. She accepted, wondering what the occasion would be. When Emma arrived at the elegant venue, she was greeted warmly by Robert's family and close friends. The place was decorated simply but beautifully, with flowers and soft lighting. The atmosphere was filled with respect and gratitude. Robert was there, looking healthy and happy. He walked up to Emma with a genuine smile and shook her hand. "Thank you again," he said softly. "You saved my life, and I want the world to know how much you mean to me." Emma felt a rush of emotions. She had never imagined being part of such a moment. She looked around and saw the faces of people who admired her courage and kindness. During the event, Robert gave a speech. He spoke about the importance of helping others and how Emma's act reminded him that even the smallest kindness can create big changes. He announced a new charitable program in Emma's name, designed to help people in need and encourage more people to donate blood. Emma listened carefully, feeling proud but also humble. She realized that her simple decision to donate blood had inspired something much bigger than she had ever dreamed. After the event, many people wanted to meet Emma and hear her story. She was invited to speak at schools, community centers, and charity gatherings. Emma found that sharing her experience helped others understand the power of kindness and giving. Despite all the attention, Emma remained grounded. She continued working at the diner, enjoying the simple pleasures of life. She never forgot the people who had supported her, from her friends and family to the customers who always made her smile. At the same time, Emma began to take on new challenges. She started volunteering regularly at local hospitals and blood donation centers. She wanted to encourage more people to donate blood and help save lives. Robert and Emma stayed in touch, building a friendship based on respect and shared values. Robert often invited Emma to join him at charity events and meetings, where her story inspired others. Their connection showed that no matter how different two people's lives may be, kindness and courage can bring them together. Emma, the waitress, and Robert, the billionaire, proved that anyone can be a hero. Emma's life was changing, but she stayed true to herself. She knew that her greatest gift was her heart, and she was ready to use it to make the world a better place. As time passed, Emma's life began to change in ways she had never imagined. What started as a simple act, donating blood to help a stranger, had grown into something much bigger. She had touched the life of Robert Sinclair, a man she had never expected to meet, and through him, she found herself part of a larger community of kindness and hope. Emma's days at the diner continued, but she also started spending more time volunteering at hospitals and blood donation centers. She learned a lot about the importance of blood donation and how many lives depended on people who were willing to give. Emma became a strong voice in her community, encouraging others to donate blood and help those in need. People admired her, not just for what she had done, but for the way she inspired others. Emma wasn't rich or famous, but she had a special gift, the ability to make others feel cared for and motivated. Her story reminded everyone that heroes don't need capes or special powers. They just need a kind heart and a willingness to help. Robert Sinclair's recovery continued as well. With each passing day, he grew stronger, returning to his work with a renewed sense of purpose. The accident had changed him in many ways, not just physically but emotionally. He appreciated life more deeply and understood the true value of kindness and generosity. Robert and Emma's friendship blossomed over the months. Though they came from very different worlds, they shared common goals: to help others and to spread hope. Robert often invited Emma to join his charitable efforts, and together, they worked on projects that helped families, children, and communities across the city. One day, Robert surprised Emma with an idea. He wanted to create a special foundation, in her name, dedicated to encouraging blood donations and helping those who needed medical care. Emma was touched and honored. She knew the foundation could make a real difference, and she was ready to help lead it. The foundation started small but quickly grew with support from doctors, volunteers, and people inspired by Emma's story. Together, they organized blood drives, health education programs, and support services for patients and families. Emma traveled to schools and community centers, sharing her journey and encouraging others to donate blood. Through the foundation, Emma met many people whose lives had been touched by generosity. She heard stories of hope and survival, and she felt grateful to be part of something so meaningful. Each story reminded her why she had made that choice to help. At the same time, Emma never forgot her roots. She still worked at the diner when she could, greeting customers with her warm smile and listening to their stories. She believed that kindness could be found everywhere, even in small moments between people. Her life became a beautiful balance between her humble beginnings and her new role as a community leader. Emma's family and friends were proud of her, and they supported her every step of the way. Mia, her best friend, often reminded her how far she had come and how many lives she had touched. One quiet evening, Emma sat by the window in her small apartment, reflecting on everything that had happened. She thought about the day she donated, blood, the hospital visit, and meeting Robert Sinclair. She smiled softly, realizing how a single choice had changed her life forever. Emma understood that kindness is a powerful force. It doesn't matter where you come from or what you have. It's the heart that counts. She hoped her story would inspire others to believe in their own power to make a difference. Robert, too, was thankful. He often spoke about Emma as his hero and friend. Their bond showed that true friendship and respect can cross all boundaries, from wealth to background. Together, they had created something beautiful, a world where helping others was the greatest success. And so the waitress who had once served coffee and meals in a small diner became a symbol of hope and courage. Emma's life was proof that even the smallest acts of kindness can save lives, change hearts, and inspire the world. Her story will always remind us, sometimes heroes come from the most ordinary places, and their greatest power is simply the willingness to care.